That's why you can have all the fucking skill in the world. I'm sure you saw it on the football field. Dudes coming out freaks, 6'5", fucking outside linebackers that are 260, that run 4.5s, but they're little bitches because they don't know how to fucking work. Today we are talking about a toxic word, and it's a word that we all use, and we use it to our detriment, okay? That word is easy, okay? Easy is a word that should not exist in your mind if you want to be successful in anything you do. If you talk to anybody or know anybody or are successful, you know it's the hard times that create character, that help you gain wisdom, and that build knowledge. Easy is something we should run from, and hard times are something we should embrace, because that's when we grow. This is the subject that Corey, Maurice, and myself break down in depth today. It's a great episode, and I'm excited for everybody to listen. Let's roll into it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, listen, you might think it's easy. We might look at it, make it look easy, but we're going to tell you that it's not. And you better get ready if you want to be successful. We're going to go through personal stories, trials and tribulations, and we're going to let you know what it's really about out here in the streets if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. That's what I'm talking about, fellas. Let's go. Hey, and I'm keeping it raspy. You're used to being raspy with number 13, but I'm keeping it raspy over here. I got no voice left from the Arnold, but hey, check it out. Business and Biceps is brought to you by Boston Sword and Tuna. Of course, you want Mike Scola to jump in the Boston Harbor. And when he jumps in there and gets the swordfish and shrimp and wants to send it straight to your door, you go to shop.bstseafood.com, biz, B-I-Z-B-I-S, 15 will give you 15% off. And we got a new one today, Johnny, because I know you want some icy watch action.
No, man, I don't want the icy watch. I want the black on black.
You do.
Matte. And I heard that Maurice stole my shit. I'm like, I want that black on black Vincero. And Corey tells me, oh, Mo already got that one. I'm like, what the fuck, Mo? But hey, I guess great minds think alike.
Absolutely. It's Vincero, Vincero, collective.com. Put in biceps and get 15% off. There are great watches for young professionals at an affordable price. You guys definitely got to check them out. So I think on today's show, first of all, Business and Biceps is killing it. We're all having a blast. The live was unbelievable at the Arnold. Like, I want to get we'll go to our topic here in a second, but I really want to get your guys' feedback from seeing, people live, hearing stories. Like, I'll start with you, Reese. Like, what'd you think just about being in person again a year later, and just kind of your, kind of what your takeaway was?
Well, the irony is that it's twofold. When I planned on started talking, I was going to talk about the feedback we have been receiving. But when, to connect with those guys after the live event and just hear personal stories, not no commercial shit, not like, oh, you scored a couple touchdowns, or, I used to love to see you run, but guys talking about their personal lives, personal information that they've taken from the podcast and stuff that's applicable, man, to me, that was like so cool, because it encouraged me to learn more. It encouraged me to be more conscious about the information that we're delivering, and I was just enjoying it. But also, I've never had people send this many direct messages to Instagram, but people just include me in their stories and just saying, hey, man, I appreciate just some of the information that you're sharing, or, this that you shared on, like they'll take a screenshot of a point inside of the podcast, and they'll say, this is what you said through there. So to me, that was like phenomenal to know that, with the intention of you're trying to give somebody something and somebody's receiving it. And I think just basic value to another individual is one of the greatest gifts that you can give somebody. And how about yourself, John?
I think for me it was obviously we come together twice a week and we talk and we try to bring the listener as much value as we can. But when you see it with your own eyes in front of your face, number one, my initial feeling was like humbled. And you probably, if anyone listens to that episode, you could hear it in my voice. Just when I look out there and think about people coming through shitty weather, dealing with traffic to come listen to us talk,
Yes.
I'm humbled, and it brings out almost something different in me that I feel is at the core of my soul. So I appreciate so much those people who come out to support us. But in addition to that, we get to see when we go live the impact it has on people. And there was a gentleman who had the courage to get up and be vulnerable at the end of that show. And for me, that hit me right in my heart, man. And that really made me understand the good we are doing, or at least attempting to do. So it really reinvigorated me. Not that I needed it, but reinvigorated me on this podcast. And it really showed the value that we're sharing with people. And that
Yeah,
was
shout
amazing.
out to Matt. Shout out to Matt Kinney. That was really
Yep,
that was
yep.
really awesome.
But go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Scar.
I was
No, go
just
ahead.
gonna say my thing was here's what I loved. I pay attention to body language and attention, of the crowd whenever you guys are talking, or just like I'll glance through whenever I'm trying to make eye contact. Everybody was locked in for 2 hours. I
Yes.
mean, that's hard. Listen, in today's age, that is really difficult. And that's what I was probably the most impressed with and excited about, that we were keeping, the crowd engaged to that level. They were hanging on each word. And I believe we were adding value to their lives. And that is what it's about. And I was very humbled, to your point, John, and excited, Reese. And I think that is what, because then when I was like, all right, we're at 2 hours, and everybody was like, yeah, now we're tired. But dude, I'm telling you what, though, they went in for like 2, though. I mean, so
Yes.
that's good,
Yeah.
No, I was going to say just some of the stuff that we were sharing. This was like that nitty gritty. How do I develop my gift, or how do I discover it? So you had a few different people like, hey, how do I identify and know that this is my way? How do I feel and know that this is the right thing that I'm pursuing? How do I distinguish? Balancing family time. There was just so much stuff, man, that I think that when these guys take this information back and they apply it develops more into who you are. I'm saying? You tap deeper inside you, legitimately for your gift, for what you're bringing to the world. And I don't know, man. I just was enjoying myself, and I enjoyed the feedback from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
solid. So, all right. So, John, I'm going to have you start on today's topic. It was one that you kind of voiced over our group
Sure.
text that we have. And I think that I'd really like to have it start with you. And then Maurice and I'd love to work off of kind of the points that you're about to make.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of young people in particular, and this isn't specific to young people, I think all people who are searching for their path or searching for success, they tend to either subconsciously or consciously lean towards things that feel easy. And when something starts to get difficult or test their spirit or test their soul, they panic and they feel like, oh, this isn't the right fit. And I believe that if you look at anything that has value in your life, okay, I guarantee you, when you think about it, whether it be your relationship with your father, your mother, your children, your wife, a business you've built, when you think about those things, the last word that's going to come to your fucking mind is easy. But all those things that I just named are the things that most people hold dear to their heart. So in this world where we're all trying to figure out what the fuck we want to do and how the fuck to do it, easy is a word I literally want to outlaw it on this show, because I believe it provides a false path to people, because nobody knows, if they don't have life experience, what it feels like to hit that wall of, oh shit, this is hard, right? When you hit that wall, that needs to be your new trigger of, okay, time to bite down on my mouthpiece and fucking put my head down like fucking Maurice Claret and go forward, right? That's what it's about. And that's how you're going to get to the place you want to go. But if you always look for easy and run from hard, I will promise you this: there is no longevity in anything that you're going to do.
Well, I'll say this to add on to this, because I was laying down last night when you sent this message, and I was like, whoa, it really spoke to me, because I was having sort of this conversation with somebody, and I sent this in the message last night. And I said, to even identify something as being tough or something hard as a bad thing, I think is inaccurate. It's just not healthy from my perspective. And I would like to say that, when something is tough, I think that it should be embraced, because tough moments help you to reveal yourself to you. And I mean it wholeheartedly. Like, the toughest things allows you to let yourself know, like, yo, am I a bitch, or do I have the ability to overcome whatever bitchness I have inside of me, and to develop and figure out and solve and get past this moment to develop and get to where I'm ultimately going. I think the journey or the traveling through the tough moments help you to be rewarded by, hey, I've overcome this challenge. So next time something like this comes up, I realize what I have inside myself. And I think that if you look at Corey, you look at yourself, if I look at myself, some of my most toughest moments to help me get to obviously where I'm at now in life have been tough, but the process revealed me to myself. The process revealed my mentality. The process beat me up. The process had me drinking and drugging at times. The process just helped to refine me, to put me in a place where I'm at now. And I believe that, things shouldn't be easy, just like you, John, but I also believe that there should be a internal fulfillment when you're having something be tough, and there's a rewarding process of discovering yourself. And even to the first part of what you spoke about, people trying to find success. And for this past, for the past maybe 4 or 5 months, a lot of the material that I've been reading and listening to, I've discovered, and I'm pretty sure, or my light has been turned on, that success is ultimately inside you. And
Right.
these tough moments that you experience, that's the shit that's helping you to bring that thing out. And literally, I said this on Twitter yesterday, people complain when they stop thinking, but you're complaining or wanting to run through something or run to something else is you complaining to yourself like, hey, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to get past this. I don't want to get over this. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I want everything to be easy. And I think my success in life lies in some easy journey or easy path. But I don't think the success is outside of you. I think and I know, and I'm experiencing that all of your fucking success is right inside you. And the toughest of moments helps you to discover, develop, and tap into it. And it's your gift that you're actually searching for. Like, what you're gifted at. Prior to what we're talking about right now, I was talking to Corey about something that I read, listened to the whole nine. And it was talking about how people's gifts are inside of them, right? And you can't get fired from your gift. You can't get fired. You can get fired from your job. You get fired from your career, but your gift and who you are and what you've developed yourself to become, which come through trial, error, tribulations, that is something that you are able to hold on to that nobody can take from you, right? So it doesn't matter if it's MP, doesn't matter if it's fucking max effort, doesn't matter if it's, I got fucking minions in front of my face. It doesn't matter if you're working for the minions. You know what I'm saying? Like, legitimately.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the fucking minions in front of me, right? Yeah. So like, that shit doesn't matter. Like, that process of not being easy is the development, so you could discover the fucking gift that you have, so you can be successful, and so you can be a fucking man. I think just fucking being a man and discovering your gift and said, hey, this is what I have to offer to the world. Like, that's like the fucking ultimate reward. It has nothing to do with money, not money or anything. Just you discovering that this is what I'm good at. This is what makes me feel like a man. This is what I feel like I was meant to do, or what I'm good at, and what fulfills me. I think everything originates from there, but I think it's found through the process of going through trials and tribulations. Just my little 2 cents on it.
I think it's like, if you think about it, of us just here on the line today, like each one of us have went through our own version of, like, mine's the coal mine, growing the way I grew up. Johnny's is multiple things from blue collar to dealing with the drug and alcohol addiction. Maurice, yours is documented so well on TV. It's been unbelievable. And then your rebound, like, listen, when have you guys met a super impactful person that they said, oh, this shit was easy. Yeah, man, like, fuck, I just started this thing and it just rolled and everything was great the whole it doesn't, it's not reality. Okay, everybody, it doesn't, it's almost like, here's one thing I want to say. There's a difference between smooth and meaning, like, your business can be going well, but every time you're going to try to break through to another barrier, there's going to be something some type of wall that's going to be difficult, right? So I don't want people to think that it's got to be so detrimental. You have to go through so much hardship, but no, just realize that at every point you're going to have to break through something to get to that next level. And I believe that adversity and how you deal with it is everything. That is exactly where you grow. And if I think back to myself, like, honestly, the breakfast I had with Arnold about 2 years ago, when I ran into him, I was still a little bit coming from MP. It was still, me and Arnold was cool, but I hadn't really had a chance to, like, sit down and talk to him yet all the way, because all the stock stuff and all that craziness. And when we went out to breakfast and we started off straight with that, like, and he just told me, like, look, man, this is just how it works. I've been doing business a long time, and some shit just doesn't work out the way you want to.
Right.
But I got to tell you this, I want to see how you respond. I want to see how you stand back up. And honestly, the interaction I had with him this weekend, a couple years later, Johnny, it makes me really happy to be back at that level of sponsorship at the Arnold Classic, for us to have that. I know that that's something that's new for you, but it's old for me, like, meaning like being at that level and being back there meant a lot to me. And I think that the way I was able to support the charity and interact with him and do those type of things, like, was my way of showing my idol and my mentor, like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm standing back and I'm doing good and I'm healthy and I feel good. And here's my family and, here's our business and we're representing. And I think that the challenge of that, to me, I took it on, and I didn't, like, get wrapped up in, hey, this woulda, shoulda, coulda. I said, no, man, it isn't the end all be all. This wasn't my destiny. It was just a stepping stone. Just a fucking stepping stone to hopefully what I can become, and the things that we're doing here, like hearing that stuff from Matt Kinney, seeing the people in the crowd, realizing that, guys, we're supposed to do this. We're supposed to share these type of things with people. And I just knew that anything, like when I was shoveling that damn coal, I knew that shit was hard. Dude, and I just kept thinking to myself, if I can just get through this, no one's going to have my story. I will appreciate personal training so much if I can win at that. Like, just give me a chance. Like, and so every time that I've seen something that's difficult, I've really tried to embrace it and get through it, but always looking forward towards, I know it'll be better if I can just make through this. And through every time, literally every time I've made it through, it has been.
Well, I think if you believe inherently that you will make it through, that's part of making it through. But Corey, I want to rewind it to 2 years ago, and I'll speak from my standpoint and bring you in a minute.
Sure.
I was at a point where I had a marketing company that was doing multi-millions, and it was leading the pack in what it did in its vertical. And literally, as fast as you can blink, shit went south with me and my partners. I got a buyout, and all of a sudden, this beautiful thing that was like my child was gone. It was gone. My John Fosco, the founder of this company that's growing and being evaluated by other companies to be purchased, is gone, right? Sure, I got paid for it, but it doesn't matter. It's gone. I don't have a job. Okay? So I'm sitting there saying, what am I made of? Literally, I remember I was sitting in my father's living room looking out. He's got a little pond. Wind was blowing. The fucking the fucking leaves were falling in the pond. And I was like, what the fuck am I made of? What am I going to do to reinvent myself? What the fuck am I going to do? And like Maurice said, I believe in my gift. I believe that it doesn't matter what the fuck you put me in, but if you put me in any position to make a business grow, motherfucker, I'm going to make it grow. Well, guess what happened shortly after that? I talked to my friend Corey Gregory, and he's like, I'm in the same fucking position. I just got bought out from Muscle Farm, or his deal, and he's like, Johnny, let's do something together. And I was like, here's a good dude, and I'm at a place where I don't have a fucking job. Guys, this is the definition of testing your soul. Corey, pedigree of success. John, pedigree of success. We're two unemployed motherfuckers talking on the phone. That's what we are. Yes. We are two unemployed motherfuckers talking on the phone. And we said, okay, let's do this. We did it. We created a podcast. We created a media company. We created a supplement company. And all we were doing was investing in our gifts. Sure, we teamed up, but we were investing in our gifts, and we were not letting the challenge that everyone else saw. Oh, Corey's not part of MP anymore. Oh, John isn't running the fucking MMA world anymore. We didn't let that get in our mind space, bro. We didn't let that penetrate us. We said, fuck all that shit. Everyone who wants to talk, they're going to see, but it's not about them seeing. It's about us proving to us that we have the ability to rise up and do whatever the fuck we want to do whenever the fuck we want to do it. And that's what we did. And that's why we are speaking to you right now.
I used to consult with Reese a lot during that time. Ain't it, Reese? I used to call him and say, look, man, this one, I'm trying to figure it out right now. And he used to, and I don't know if you can remember some of the advice you gave me, Reese, but you really helped out during that time for sure.
Oh, my advice is always the same. Bet on yourself.
Give me the ball, baby. Give me the ball.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, you're in charge of waking your ass up. You're in charge of posting shit online. You're in charge of picking your product out. You're in charge of marketing it. And to a motherfucker who got a work ethic, like all that shit is easy. Like I'll say since we're talking about easy, it's easy to understand what you can control. That's easy. I can control these things. I will go make that thing. If you have a work ethic, then all of that shit that you are supposed to do takes discipline, but it's easy to identify what you're in control of. I'm saying that in the context of the process that you all built the company, that's not being easy. And I'm like a stickler on not mixing up content and context. And so in the context, the word easy is being used and said, if I meet a motherfucker for 10 seconds, I can help you to identify what's easy for you to control. And literally those easy things that you can control are literally the things that you use and gather together to ultimately build who you were supposed to fucking be. It's really fucking simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just controlling what you fucking control. And I remember when Corey was going through that, and I think Corey calls me at times for sound advice.
Yeah, because I know you're not going to lie to me. Hey, for the record, neither will John Fosco. That's for sure. Yeah,
because my advice is sort of go back to yourself and just control what you can control. You know what I'm saying? Because the more you put your career and your life in other people's hands, you're not at their mercy, but you have to put that dynamic in place or in play when you're talking about making future decisions. But if you can just kind of gather everything that you can control and, okay, let me control this portion of the game or this portion of my life, and let me do everything I possibly can. And then when it's time to ask for help, you're just in a better fucking situation. You know what I'm saying? You're just in a more secure place. You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of people's insecurity rise from, because they put so much of their lives into other people's hands. Yep. And I know I'm kind of veering off the road from the easy conversation, but this is just advice. And a lot of motherfuckers just aren't happy or aren't secure because they put so much of who they are and what they want to become into somebody else's life, are in somebody else's hand. And I think, John, what you were talking about at the beginning about fucking being easy, like the more you develop yourself, the more you add value to yourself, the more that you problem solve, the more that you just come through, the more responsibility you shoulder, all that shit develops you into who you are, which makes you a person of value. And the most valuable motherfuckers, the money gets attracted to them. Like that's just the bottom fucking fact of life. Like the most valuable people in whatever company you are, the money goes to them. They don't have to go to the money. And that's why I'm always trying to read, always trying to work. Yeah, drop that motherfucking bomb. I'm telling you. Think about it. The most valuable motherfuckers, they don't have to say, oh, I'm worth this. Motherfuckers pay you because they want you around because you take more responsibility. Here we go. Here's some advice, off topic, but good fucking advice, right? So we got all these people who work in our company, right? So I said, you don't have to ask me for nothing. You never do, right? Just take all fucking responsibility you can. Be a good steward of those responsibilities. Right. And one day we'll look up and we'll say, if it wasn't for this person, this wouldn't be happening. And we have to compensate them accordingly.
Yeah, they don't need permission. It's like take ownership of what you're doing. Take ownership to such a degree that the only worry you have is that if the actual owner comes to you and says, motherfucker, you're taking too much ownership, right? But until that happens, okay, it's true. Take ownership of what you're doing and let it speak for itself. I mean, when we're talking to employees, when we're talking to people who are trying every fucking day, sacrificing so much, working 14 hours, when they're trying to understand how to come up, it's take ownership of everything you fucking do. I don't want to hear your words. I want to look at what you're responsible for and gauge it. And if I can look at it and I see an 80% increase, I see you walking around with pride, confidence, and you're going to tell me as the leader, as one of the leaders, right? If you're going to tell me how you're going to make it 180% next month, that is a motherfucker that cannot be stopped. That's a person who does not believe in easy, and that's someone who will work. And those people can't be stopped.
Let me add on to that, John. But that's only developed from that person going through so much shit, so much anguish, so much anger, so many books that they've read, so many things that they're able to put themselves in a situation, said, hey, I can fucking master this because I've been beat fucking up. I've developed myself. I've went through the tough shit. So this is nothing. This is, it becomes easy once you master your I don't think you ever master yourself, but once you come to a place of like, I'm comfortable with purifying myself and I'm comfortable with going through fucking tough situations so I can be a good steward of this. Even though this is going to be tough, I can do a good job at handling these responsibilities. And I think that shit goes from your workplace and it goes to the house. And if you got a fucking woman, she feels great because her man is secure. Her man's in a situation that she wants to be in. I think that same thing spills onto your kids. And I just think it makes you a better fucking person all the way around. The way that my family looks at me is like, okay, I can respect this guy because he has value. He's out working his ass off every day. We have no problems here. When there's harmony inside the fucking house and there's harmony inside the workplace, your fucking life is great.
I always spoke that, Reese. Remember, I used to tell you that all the time.
I got it. Look, I stole my shit from Corey. Corey says a lot of shit, and I just steal it. Or you know what happens is I'll hear you say it, and then I'll actualize it. But like this is going deeper into it. So the harmony inside of your house comes from, I guarantee you, I hope Rachel listens to this part. The harmony in your house comes from she's secure. So I don't have to worry about if the fucking lights are on. I don't have to worry about if the fucking rent is going to be due or the mortgage is going to be due. I don't have to worry about what he's going to do. And that comes from Corey finding his gift. Corey found his gift. Corey found his purpose. Corey gets up. Corey works every day. Corey redefines himself. Corey does what he does. Corey comes home. I'm secure. I'm happy. The fucking kids are taken care of. That's fucking life. Oh, and by the way, we make a bunch of fucking money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fucking it. I'm sorry.
Go
ahead.
No, it is beautiful. I almost want to rewind this for 1 second and just touch on this point because I think it's a very valuable one. And that's that you're always going to find out who and what is real in your life when shit stops being easy, right?
Yes.
When
Great
shit
point, John.
stops being easy and starts getting really hard. When Corey Gregory isn't with the old company anymore
Yep.
and is figuring out who the fuck he's going to or where the fuck he's going to go next. When John Fosco
Yep.
is figuring out what he's going to do next. When Maurice Clarett does not have the red zone and he's figuring out how to put this together. Like, that's when we are at a point where the people who embrace us, who support us like they always have, who literally look at our adversity and don't blink and are always there, the same as they always have been, those are the people I want the listener to identify as the ones to keep close, because it is so easy. Okay, I'm stressing the word easy. It is so easy to be on the gravy train, right? It's so easy to be next to a winner who's winning. That is easy. But what's hard is to stand by somebody who's struggling and be there in that struggle with them and say, brother, I'm in this shit with you. And we are making it out, motherfucker. You better believe that shit. And if you need help, I'm going to pick you up. And I know you're going to pick me up some days. But I just want people to identify that, because we all go through trials and tribulations. But it's the motherfuckers that stand by us during the trials that we got.
Johnny, let me ask you this real quick. Did you recognize it as, because you've been in the game a long time, you went through the VFD buyout and whatnot. Did you wake up the next, like, did you have kind of a morning time, or did you wake up like, okay, the chat, like, because you've been through it a few times. So was it like instant challenge mode? Like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself to do even better than that or the next thing? Or how did you process that, and how fast did it, how long did it take?
So it was truly instantaneous. The second I was out, I knew I was going to take myself to the next level. Did I know how? No, but Corey, I remember we had this conversation about people we used to work with, right? And being aware of people I truly wish everybody that I used to work with, I've had many partners in many businesses, whether we got along or not, I truly wish them the best. But on the flip side of that, I truly pay zero attention to you. I truly pay zero attention. But what I do is I believe in myself. So Corey, to answer your question, I knew immediately I would recover and take myself to a new level, because I had been through, starting at 5 years old, right? Getting my fucking ass kicked as a child, right? Starting at that point all the way up till this point, I knew that the trials and tribulations, that the fucking adversity is where the money's at. Not literally the money, but that's where the growth, the wisdom, that's where it all is birthed.
Yes.
And I was in a situation where I, like I said, was sitting on the couch talking to you as an unemployed motherfucker. Whether I got paid or not doesn't matter. So I knew I was going to take another growth step. And that right there made me believe that I was just going to take it to another level.
Maurice, I want to hit you with this too. So you're in the courtroom and they're hitting you with what? 6 3/4, 7 years potentially, 7.5 years.
7.5 years. Yeah.
Obviously, you're on super fucking blast. But when you knew that you were absolutely, no question, going away, did it take a while to click that you could, that basically you were going to be forced to rehabilitate yourself or attempt to, or what was your mind like at that point, or did it take a little while?
Yeah, no, before it happened, when I got initially incarcerated, I knew at some point, I knew football was over. And so for so many years, football was the end all of everything. And I was supposed to secure my future, build retirement, and take me into some other place than where I was. But prior to that, I knew that I would have to reinvent myself, but I had no clue of what was like. I didn't have a journey, a path, a destination, or any of that. But we talk about discovering gifts. As funny as it is, I've always enjoyed being an entrepreneur, whether it was illegal or legal. The process of selling drugs is entrepreneurial, or The criminal mindset is entrepreneurial. Like, I'm going to make a way for myself, but just the vehicle or how you do it. You can't do it with a gun. You can't, manipulate people, or you can't do any criminal stuff, in the America that we live in. But that was my deal. How do I formally do this? And then the process, the struggle, even though I'm in prison, I have nowhere to go. I didn't want to read all these fucking books, you know what I'm saying? But, I was getting better. And just like John said, that's where the money is at, the adversity. There's adversity in fucking picking up a book instead of going downstairs and playing cards, with the guys in the day room. There's adversity in fucking doing book reports in prison instead of going to the yard and fucking playing basketball, you know what I'm saying? And so, like when John said the adversity, that's where the fucking money is at. And like he said, when he getting his ass kicked at 5, like just fucking growing up the way I grew up, I can feel a fucking tingle across my face right now. Like, I grew up in real shit and survived it and got through it and thrived through it and fucking made myself something at Ohio State as a fucking individual. You know what I'm saying? I probably didn't do everything I was supposed to do academically, but I knew fucking I had a championship pedigree in me. You know what I'm saying? I knew that I was fucking somebody because I had been through shit. And so when we go back to the conversation of easy, like, you don't even get this fucking confidence. Like, you don't feel how I fucking feel if you ain't been through shit, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why we look at these like YouTube stars or bitch ass people who promote all this, motivational shit. Like, if you've been through shit, you can hear somebody look up, I ain't been through shit. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But you can't, and I don't know, I'm getting a little like I'm going back and relapsing in thought a little bit, but that's what happens in prison. Like, God, shut the fuck up.
Well, you're
somebody tell you
plugging
shut the fuck
real,
up.
Dude. I mean, I can't speak for. Yes. I've been to county twice, but I can't speak for.
No,
but
go ahead.
What I'm saying is when you're in that moment, right? For you, it was almost 4 years, right? It's like you can only deal with, if you are on the path to getting better and getting well, you can only deal with what is real. So I can imagine you can only deal with that. That's it. Or else you'll relapse and you'll get into that other shit. But I can only imagine, getting out and seeing this, what you were describing, YouTube stuff, fake ass motivational speakers, and saying like, dude, I was in a fucking cage for 4 years. These fucking guys are spitting some stupid ass fucking shit and recording videos, and they're trying to fucking get rich. Like, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. And it is a reflection, unfortunately, of our society. But at the same time, Maurice, I think that is the beauty of what the three of us are doing, because we're not going with the tide of society. We're not riding that fucking wave. We're going against it in our own way, but we're going against it in the most positive fashion, I believe, that we possibly could. So anyone is welcome to join us in this fucking journey, because we're still all learning.
Here's the deal too. There's somebody right now, probably a lot of people, that are going through what each of us have. I beat you to it, motherfucker. So that are going. I've been reading, Reese. But what the thing is, I think there's a lot of people that are going through what their time would be, like whatever that means to them. And I think what we're trying to do is let them know that that's just the way it is. That is, and every so often you're going to have to fight through what your version of what we just talked about is, and then there's going to be another one, and then there's going to be another one. And if you continue to press forward, they're going to keep showing themselves at times. And here's what I used to think back, right? I used to go, man, when this shit blows up, I'm going to be cruising, right? Blah, blah, blah. It ain't like that, motherfucker. It doesn't work that way, right? Like, look, I've reached these certain goals. I've done these certain things. But all that means to me is that it's just working. It's never done, right?
Exactly. It can go as fast as
exactly. And so that's why I always tell people, like, when I reach certain things, I don't think, oh yeah, motherfucker, I made it. I think, no, shit's working. Keep working harder. Like that's I look at it completely different. Those things on that goal sheet, those aren't the end all be all. Those are the, hey, I'm on the way to where I want to be to create this legacy and do these things. And so I just think that you're listening right now. It's okay It happens to everybody. And once again, I don't know anybody that hasn't went through multiple things to reach a level of success that they've ever dreamed of. Every person I've ran into has a story. And if you don't have a story, hey, don't sweat it, but
Get
you're
ready,
about to
because your
get
story's
one.
about to be
Yeah.
made. It's about
Yeah.
it's on its way, baby, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
if
hurt. But
if
get
you're
ready.
pushing, you're gonna have one. Like, here's one thing that people say to
Right.
me sometimes when they see me in person. And I just met a lot of people this weekend at the Arnold. Was they're like, dude, you have like endless stories from this journey. I'm like, I've been pushing for 20 years. Like, I've hit multiple adversities in all these different businesses and personally. And to Reese's point earlier, honestly, if I have to lean on what's really got me there, it's two major things. It's the discipline and work ethic with the harmony. Like, I can't tell you how much that important, because Rachel's never maybe always understood what I was doing, but she believed in me because I had never like had her astray, right?
Mhm.
It was one of those things like when I got up that morning and said, look, I sat my kids down, right? I started a project in my backyard that a lot of you guys have seen on IG. I built a really dope pool with a fucking, a gym and everything out there. It's sick and it's a dream. But dude, it was only half done. And I don't want anybody crying a river for me, but I'm just telling you what I said. I sat my kids down. They're all young and they're pumped about the pool. I'm talking pumped, right? We got a diving board that's going into grass when I sit them down. I said, look, Daddy quit his job today. And I'm telling you guys straight up, I'm going to bust my tail to get this thing finished. But that diving board could be going into grass for 2 years or maybe never. It could maybe never happen. But I got to tell you that I have to do this. This is right. This is morally for me. This is the way it is. That I didn't want to have that conversation, but there's one of those things that like, that shit wasn't easy. You know what I mean? They were so pumped when we started that project. Dude, every kid that's 8 and 10 years old wants a pool. Are you kidding me? Like, people were pumped about that stuff, right? And
Everybody.
I wanted to be the guy
forward.
because I grew up being the poor kid at the beginning of the road. Like, I wanted to be the guy that everybody wanted to go to their house. Like, I've had that vision my whole life. Well, dude, it was almost there. And then I had to fucking say, whoop, I got to start over. So it's just one of those things that it's just the way it is. I would never be in this space right now. I would never feel as confident about my gift or skills if I didn't go through that at that very present time. I didn't realize it was holding me back, but I'm here to tell you it was holding me back. It was holding me back. And I had a new lease on life, had my best professional years since I got through that and partnered up with Johnny, and now Maurice coming in on this. It just meant to happen that way. So look, if you feel like you're stuck, just it's going to be hard to get through it. That's the only way you're going to grow. It just is what it is. I'm so thankful that I went through it. I really am. It sucked at the time, but I knew it was definite and inevitable anyway. So
I actually want to tell a little story. Me and Corey had an experience about a week and a half ago. We're working with a great new partner, and we're walking down the street, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come into my new nacho restaurant? We'll have some nachos." And me and Corey are like, okay. And we're sitting there talking to him. A beautiful restaurant, and he's telling us about his journey. And he's like, one day I had the idea to grab my camera and go into every shoe store that I could find in 1998 and take a picture of every shoe I could find and then upload it online and try to sell it. And when I went to these shoe stores, the managers would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, hey, I just want to try and sell your shoe at full price. I'm not even asking for a discount. And I'm going to upload it on a website and I'm going to try to sell it. So we're like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." And this gentleman who we were talking to, who told us the origin of that story, he was the sole founder of Zappos.com. That's how Zappos, one of the most iconic brands, websites in the last 20 years, okay, that's how Zappos.com started, by somebody with next to no money walking into stores, taking photos. Now, do you think for a fucking second that is easy. Do you think for a fucking second that that guy made $1 in the first year taking photos for free, trying to sell things at full price? And my point is this guy built Zappos.com. And as we continued to talk to him, he explained that as Zappos was growing and as Zappos was doing big numbers every fucking day, he was worried that it was going to go under because it always needed a cash raise. It always needed a cash raise. It always needed a cash raise. So when you guys, the listener, when you look at things and you say, oh my God, this website or this or this store or this business must be killing it, you have no clue the fortitude that it takes from whoever is pushing that fucking train to keep it going. And when you think about a website like Zappos and you think about the origins, which I just explained, and someone saying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in, he's worried about it going out of business every single day because they needed more cash. That is the definition of shit ain't fucking easy. But guess what? He didn't let it stop him. Motherfucker kept pushing. He kept pushing. Let me tell you what happened. He exited from Zappos for a large amount of money because he built an iconic brand, right? Built on service. And then want to know what he did? He bought part of the Golden State Warriors before they were the Golden State
10 years
Warriors.
ago.
Okay. And at that point, the man could have dropped the mic, but he didn't. And he is one of the most innovative startup minds I've ever talked to. This guy is creating new businesses every day. He is an owner of the Warriors. He is the sole founder of Zappos.com. And this dude's got 50 fucking startups in the works because he knows shit ain't easy, but he don't care. He's like Maurice said at the beginning of the fucking show. He is using his gift on a daily basis. And if something is hard, that motherfucker doesn't blink. And his track record shows.
He's mild-mannered too, John. I was blown away by the way things were rolling out of his mouth, like talking about the Warriors, talking about this, like the emotion is like the same. It's pretty amazing. I haven't been around somebody
non-existent.
I haven't been around anybody like Nick ever, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we literally got to tell the listener that when we met with this gentleman, we didn't know his name. His name is Nick Swinmurn, by the way. He's a fucking amazing person. But we didn't know that he owned the Warriors. And this guy's showing up. Oh, here's a gym concept, and he took us there, and it was amazing. It was packed. Oh, here's an epic NBA store called Dunk Contest. This was fucking amazing, right? He took us in there. The store's bomb, right? Here's Nacho Ria. Here's my nacho concept. As we're sitting down eating, oh, by the way, I own part of the Golden State Warriors. That was the last thing that he presented to us. And we're like, what? But that is a person, like Corey just alluded to, nothing phases him. Nothing phases him. Yeah, go ahead.
But here we go. See, when y'all tell me that, I look at that thing completely different, right? I look at it as it doesn't faze him because the only thing that he enjoys is operating in his gift, right? He had to go through all that shit to operate and do what he enjoys. And the results from this shit, I think, are secondary to him actually getting a hard on from using his gift.
No, I agree.
Like, so like it doesn't, like who he is everything to him. And I think that's what probably satisfies this dude, because if you keep on doing, like, it's not about the money because the dude got the money. You know what I'm saying? So I got fucking dough, but it's more or less to the listener, to the guy who says, hey, this shit is hard. I want to take this fucking easy journey. Let me find this easy path. You're literally doing yourself a disservice from not developing yourself from the hard shit to eventually accomplish what you want to accomplish, to eventually accomplish more of what you want to accomplish, or to work in your gift. Your gift is on the other side of that fucking adverse moment that you're running from. and you're running to the easy thing, it's like it's no different than John. As I'm talking to it, it's no different than the guy doesn't want to go to stress. So what I do? One guy picks the easy road. One guy picks up a blunt. One guy picks up a bottle. One guy picks up a pill. You're diverting yourself from what you like. Staying fucking sober is not easy. You know what I'm saying? For anybody who's ever dealt with drugs and alcohol, like you just don't get sober and be like, okay, I'm fucking sober. You're constantly staying sober, but the shit. But the joy and the rewards and what you experience as an individual, obviously that's the gift. And the more you operate and develop that gift and it becomes larger, I'm interested in just like even when you're sad and shit, I said, oh, this dude, like Corey, you just said part of the conversation early. You don't get to a place. This just becomes part of the success.
Yeah, you can't. You're not ready for it. I mean, the thing is, if you don't take the detour through the shit, you can't like even conceptualize. You never get there.
Here we go. Is this the core reason why the guys who inherit a bunch of money, right? And this is let me put context to this too, because I'm trying to build a life for my daughter to inherit something, right? But is this the guy's question to say, okay, the kid who's inherited a bunch of money can never be like the parents or the people who worked their ass off for it, solely because the development of getting to that space can never be the same.
It's the truth.
Because
it's the truth.
You started somewhere else, but I think the conversation becomes different. Like, okay, I've developed myself. I have all this fucking money, but I've not learned and built myself. And there's this silent sense of entitlement, or I know what the fuck is going on because I ended in this space. And I think if you take the easy route, and just follow me with this one, the easy route, and if you do happen to be successful through something easy, you're functioning in this funky space because you've not built yourself. You know, like, I don't know. I think that's like the cheesy way, like the cheesy, like,
well, the longevity is not always there, Reese, because eventually you're going to be tried.
But
it's just the way.
What I think about what Maurice is saying about like second generation, right? Second generation money. Yeah. I just think it has nothing to do with bad parenting. It has nothing to do with not providing your kids with a clear sense of themselves or neglecting them. I believe it has everything to do with if you don't work for something from the bottom up, you simply cannot understand it. So when you talk about, is my little girl going to miss out if I leave her something? I believe the answer is yes, Mo, and that's just reality, and it ain't your fault. It's not your fault, but nobody, it's a human trait. If you ain't worked from it from the bottom up, you cannot appreciate it. I have never met one motherfucker who can.
No.
Period.
But here we go. Even more than appreciation, the skills, the grit, the grind, the hustle, the ass busting, the fuck you, the getting through the drink.
Right. That's what I mean by appreciation. Yeah. Appreciating what it takes to get
that. Dude, there's a lot of fucking that. The conversations, that shit makes you into who you are. That's what fucking give you that supreme confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's what it gives it to you. And so more, and this is not to beat anybody up, but more to the people who, when I hear them talk or I see what they say and I know their stories, I say, dude, that's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's not, that shit is not real, and I don't respect it. And even if they don't care about my respect, just because I lived a real life, and more to the point of what I was talking about with Corey earlier, when you hear, man, dude, this is some of the roughest shit you do. When you hear a mother, she calls you. So we run a drug and alcohol treatment center, right? Somehow or another, I get these random calls from random people because people realize that how to get in touch with me. And when you hear people going through shit, right? When you see people going through shit, my son played baseball in college. My son got pain pills. He got hooked on them. My son's a fucking wreck. He's been a wreck for fucking 19 months. And he'll talk to you on the phone. And when you talking to a motherfucker and it's real, you can't hit them with that bullshit motivation. And the only reason that they listen to me or will give me a fucking chance is because they be like, you know what? This dude went through it. You hear where I'm coming from? That's why it's so fucking important to be real, and you become realer when you start to get and go through shit because you're refining.
Maurice, I want to ask you a question. Yep. Just straight up. So, okay.
It's halftime. Hey, yo, it's halftime.
All right, fellas, it's halftime. You know, we're not running the football, Mo, but it's halftime. We gotta metaphorically score some touchdowns right now because we got some people that have really been supporting us, and we got to start off with Mikey Scola at Boston Sword and Tuna. He's our only listener turned sponsor that I'm aware of, which is pretty impressive at shop.
First of many.
Yeah, first of many. But young guy, pushing hard, super impressive. You got to go check out shop.bstseafood.com. If you put in BIZ 15, you get 15% off. I ordered legitly 10 pounds of salmon from this cat. He jumped in the harbor. He pulled it out like John always talks about, threw it in a box, sent it to my house. He didn't actually do that, but Mikey Scola is epic. He's got a great business in Boston. We love supporting him. John, I know you ordered a lobster, right, to your house?
Corey, everything I order, I personally request the video of Mike jumping into the harbor. And don't tell people that Mikey Scola does not jump in that fucking harbor, because when it's 10 degrees and it's snowing in Boston and you can't see anything, Mike is shirtless. He's 40 feet under the Boston harbor and he's picking those lobsters up by hand. And he says, John, these are the ones I'm sending to you. And they show up my door the next day. And guess what? They are fresh. And I still see Mike's fingerprints on them. I always test them for fingerprints. So Mike Scola is turning into a folk hero, as he should, because his business is disrupting the seafood industry.
It is.
Imagine getting a live lobster to your door the next day and receiving 15% off it for entering what code, Corey?
BIS 15 is what you need. Hey, I got a quick story about Mike Scola. So we have a guy in our weightlifting group at the 4am crew named Mike Scolar, right? So somebody introduced themselves. It's this dude from Chicago. His name's also Mike. And he was like, yo, what's your name? He's like, Mikey Scolar. He's like, dude, I just bought seafood from you. And Mike's like, no, that's Scola. It's Scola. But like, look, there's people that they thought it was Mike Scola. They were pumped to meet him and they're buying seafood. That's all I got to say. It's happening, John Fosco.
Hey, listen, we're making this guy an urban legend, but he is an urban legend. So everybody should go support the man.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I've loved watches forever. I got to tell you, I'm super pumped to have a watch sponsor. We got to pick out our watches that, Vincero is contributed to the cast here at Business and Biceps, which is exciting. John Fosco, did you pick the same watch as Maurice? I can't remember.
Before I answer that question, I know everyone's waiting on the answer. I just want to say this. What I really appreciate about VinceroCollective.com, what I appreciate about them is this. They chose to support us and our listeners.
Yes.
And not the loudmouth, repetitive bums above us on the podcast charts. I'm very tired of these people who say the same shit over and over again. They try to invent new words to sound fucking smart, or they try to just scream really loud, right? I'm very happy that Vincero identified Business and Biceps as a place where people are actually coming to learn. And to answer your question, Corey, yes, I did get the black on black, matte finish, sickest watch on Vincero Collective, and Maurice Claret copied off me, period.
Hey, Mo, how excited were you? Listen, I sent Mo the text and said, hey, Mo, here's who's interested in sponsoring the podcast. How pumped were you, Mo?
Oh, I was very pumped. And when I seen all the designs, now I would have he had a nice blue one. The blue one was it was real nice, but all of the clothes that I wear are black. So if you ever see me in the picture, outside of a suit, I wear black shirts all the time. I wear gray shirts all the time, or I wear dark jeans or black jeans. And I really got that just from trying to keep my life simple. And also when I take a picture for it to sort of be timeless, you're not really cut in the generation. And from there, I chose to watch. But like my man Johnny Fosco says, great minds think alike. And we love.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys go, and I want to spell it out so you don't mess it up. It's VINCERO collective.com. Put in the promo code BICEPS for your 15% off. The watches start at $139, and you can't go wrong. Lastly, we had a huge launch this weekend. Ronda Rousey's line is available at maxeffortmuscle.com. We have the Max Crispy Treats. We have any 3 products for $100. You get a free t-shirt. Any 5 products, that's mix and match for $160 with free t-shirt. Women's, men's, baking mix, fat burners, everything. At this point, you can't go wrong. There's got to be something for you there at maxeffortmuscle.com. And look, we're just excited about anybody that's supporting this podcast. You guys got to make sure and go out and look into the businesses, support them, because they're supporting what I believe is your education as our crazy
Corey,
stories.
a very important point about Max Effort that I want to make real quickly is we are a drug-free company in an industry that is full of drug users. I'm going to say, Corey, I'm going to say we just spent 3 days at the Arnold, and the industry that we play in is full of phonies, fakes, and a bunch of fucking morons who try to trick their customers. We are normal guys who fucking work hard, make a good product for a good price, and now you can buy it for your lady, your mother, your daughter, whoever. Please remember that, because we take a lot of pride in that.
Hey, we stuck out like a sore thumb, didn't we, Johnny, at the Arnold?
Hey, listen, we're the only guys who weren't walking around 250 with 3% body fat. Yeah, I'm sure that's from your fucking creatine, dude.
Right. It's halftime. Right. Hey, yo, it's halftime.
When you have the skill that 1 in fucking 50 million get to run the ball like you had, here's something that I probably respect about you most. I never hear you talk about football, or very seldomly. And I want to ask you what it feels like to remember running the ball, winning a championship, and literally being the best college football running back there was, to having that taken away from you. And you know, if circumstances were different, that you would have excelled and been a very successful running back at what every child's dream is. But you lost that. And somehow, at least I don't hear from you that as regret. I hear I moved on. And I want you to tell the listener how something so powerful that we all as males wish for was taken from you, and how you turned it into something positive and let go. How the fuck did you let go of that, Maurice? How did you let it go?
I'll break it down in parts, because I heard like probably three or four different questions, right?
Yeah.
The initial part was that, in maybe this will make sense, this will set the foundation for what I'm about to say. I never enjoyed football. I enjoy working hard, if that makes sense. That's why I enjoyed the weight room. I don't necessarily like weights, but I like that weights make you work hard. I love hard shit just because it just challenges me, right? I enjoyed football because football was an art to me. Learning, like, it wasn't like people will look at me and say, okay, this guy was a fucking battering ram. He'll run through people. But to me, football was very artistic with how people moved, plays, cat and mouse, what you're going to do, get your ass knocked down, get your ass back up, motivating other motherfuckers to go out here and fucking do something that you knew they couldn't do, or that they really didn't believe themselves. So when you talk to motherfuckers and you're making them believe a whole lot fucking more than they initially believed, that is fun. And that's that. It has nothing to do with the game of football, but it's just the activity. If it was fucking basketball, soccer, it didn't matter. To be able to do that to people, to move them, like was the beautiful thing. To go, the only thing that hurt with football initially was the fact that I thought that this was the vehicle to make me a lot of money to bless my family. That was the only thing that hurt me. And you take that away, and that's no longer a possibility. That was the hurtful part. That's when the addiction and everything else started from there, and I didn't recover. But what got me through and got me over it was, call it what you want to. It's like yo, my gift wasn't football. My gift was mobilizing people. My gift was being able to socialize, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't fucking matter. I'm a likable fucking person. My gifts were I work hard as fuck. My gifts were I believe more than a fucking average person. You can't get that shit from the classroom, but I just fucking believe, and I don't mind to set goals for myself that seem fucking ambitious to the next person, but that's how I live. That's how I operate my life. You know what I'm saying? And so once I start reading and developing and seeing how to apply this shit in other different fashions, I say, oh, I don't need football to take care of myself anymore. I have other gifts inherently that I just need to figure out how to mobilize them. And I think this shit is in everybody. Like you have gifts that drive that job. Like John, you got fucking gifts that it wouldn't matter if it was fucking max effort, whatever you were doing before here or whatever you were doing before that. Those gifts, you need to apply them and drive something. That's all the shit is. That's all fucking life is. And so I don't talk about football because like I enjoyed it. You know, if you ask me, I believe I could have been one of the best of all time, and I believe it wholeheartedly based upon how I ran and what I did. I think I'm the greatest guy to ever run a football at Ohio State, even when I'm there. I believe that in my heart wholeheartedly, and not because I'm just a fan of myself, just because just my intention and how I fucking took the game was different. You know what I'm saying? But the way to get over it is that, like, dude, that wasn't me. I had to separate who I was and what I did. Like I did football, but that wasn't my gift. My gift wasn't football. My gift was the ability to work my ass off. And you work your ass off by studying film. You work your ass off by motivating people. You work your ass off by going out to practice, and every fucking run you're doing, you're running 60 yards when you're supposed to run 10. Like I was making myself into that person just by fucking working hard and developing habits. And the shit they seen on Fridays and Saturdays, that was like easy shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I had done so much fucking work to prepare. And all in all, I'm saying, like, it just, and I guess I'm speaking to the guy who's done something before. Like, fuck that.
You're just playing a different game, Reese.
Dude, no. That's is that not every fucking person in life?
Exactly. That was my point in asking the question, because if you're going through a divorce right now, if you just lost your job, if you need to find a new job, if you need to reinvent yourself, that was the purpose for me asking that question, because somebody can really understand, wow, I used to watch Maurice be the best, and this guy is now operating in a completely different space, and he doesn't have regret on his voice. So this, to me, ultimately, it's an amazing story. I admire it about you. But for the listener, it's like, man, if you are going through some shit, you just heard a man who went through some public shit that we all can relate to, that we all saw, that we all can understand. And what did you hear? It's like what you are born with is what you need to develop, right? We all know.
There we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going.
No. I mean,
Keep dropping it, Johnny. Keep dropping it.
What you're born with is what you need to develop, and you must believe, like he was talking about being on the football field and bringing people together. And I think I'm the best at Ohio State. You must believe you're the best. And I always say, you have to have almost a crazy, like literally bordering on insane belief in yourself, because whether you think you're the best or not, and I always advise someone to think they are the best and work like they're the best, you may not be the best, right? But you don't know that, and no one can take that from you. So believe you're the best, because if you believe you're the best, you're going to fucking work like you are the best. And it doesn't matter if you're the best or not, but work like you're the best, because you're going to get the most out of your gift and get the most out of yourself. And in that scenario, guess who wins? You.
I will tell you this, and I will add on to that by saying your belief system drives your motherfucking attitude. And your attitude is motherfucking what develops every fucking thing in your life. And I have a small admission, John, before I go forward. Everything I'm trying to say, you're taking is making it motherfucking real simple. I said, shit, this motherfucker getting me today.
Oh, man.
Well, I think it also
healthy competition. Let's go.
So here,
Go ahead.
I want to add to it too, Reese. It's like, so everybody saw what you did in 2000, right? That was your expectation. Was I'm a champion. I'm the best. Give me the fucking ball. You want me on the team. I'm the leader. I'm gonna motivate. I'm gonna show you by my actions, right? I think that at the end of the day is really what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what the vehicle is or what you're doing.
Yes.
I have an expectation of Corey Gregory
Yes.
and anybody that works alongside me of at a certain level. Like, I know that if I apply all the things that I did, no matter what business it is or what sport I'm into or what, it doesn't matter. I have an expectation of me. I'm the one that sets that. I'm the hardest on myself.
Right.
That's why I say, like, you know what, dude, Saturday, like the Arnold was crazy, right? It's the biggest, it's the Super Bowl for fitness. It starts at 4 a.m. at, or even 3:30, goes late with all the different events. And I'm like, I get up. I mean, I probably slept, 3 hours. I get up on Saturday. I know there's people going to be at the gym. I expect to be there. It doesn't matter how tired I am, what I did the day before, if my back hurts, there's just a certain expectation level I have of myself every day. And no one sets it for me. People are actually kind of freaked out about that I set it to that high. But I know it. That's what works. And that you expect, Reese, that when they gave you the ball in the national championship against Miami, you were going to score a touchdown. You probably told Tress, give him the fucking ball.
Dude.
Like, John is like, set me up on the fucking calls to close the deals. I'm going to get it done every time. Like, I think that's the thing is I think people don't have high enough expectations for themselves. They're going to go through all these difficult things. Believe me, also, I think as you go through those difficult things, it puts a confidence together as you continue to get through them and get better and grow. You set a higher expectation. You expect more out of yourself. Like, I expect for this shit to happen. Like, I don't take it for granted, but I expect for us to win. I expect for our podcast to be top 10 because there's not 3 other motherfuckers that are saying what we're saying. It's just
and we control it, baby. We can us 3 control it. And the thing that you kind of just made me kind of realize, Corey, is that Maurice used a metaphor about being able to measure things in football. Oh, okay, if you didn't do this well, you can go and run another drill and measure things. You obviously can measure things in your fitness shit. And I'm like, shit, man, why the fuck do I love selling so fucking much? Well, you know what?
Measurable.
It's because it's measurable. And
Yes.
I literally I want someone to fucking email our website, call our show and say, I want to fucking role play against this guy because I am the best in the world at selling. And I'll fucking challenge anyone. And just saying that, I want you guys to understand this. Just saying that is hard to say, but I believe it, right? I believe it. And everywhere I've gone, I've fucking proved it. So I'm not saying I'm great, I'm special, I'm this, I'm that. I'm saying take a little bit of that, plug it into your gift, and fucking be ready to do some hard shit, right? Be ready to do some hard shit. And if you can measure your gift, measure that motherfucker, because that's how you are going to incrementally increase. And by the way, I am serious. If anybody wants to call in, I would love to fucking role play your ass because I'll fucking smash you. Anybody. But I love you all. And I teach you all too.
I'll tell them this. I'll give them some takeaway shit, just like, because I was between both of you all. And ultimately, people are always either trying to convince them of something, but expectations are things that we can control. I always say, your reality is your thoughts. Your thoughts are your reality. You can establish your expectations. Your expectation then establishes your belief system. Your belief system, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you really believe it, it drives your attitude.
Yes.
Your attitude is basically what you have on you when you go into this fucking world. Whether you're trying to sell something, convince somebody of something, the only thing that John Fosco is telling you all is that I have an attitude and a belief system and an expectation system that whatever it is that I'm talking about is going to get done. And this belief system, this expectations, this fucking attitude has developed and grown through trials and tribulations. Am I right, John?
You're 1,000,000% right.
Okay. And so I didn't grow and become this person and establish these expectations, belief system, and attitude from that shit, from the easy shit. That's what the whole podcast is about, the easy shit. I've established all this shit from the trials, tribulations, turmoil, and everything. And so to make the fucking point of the podcast is to say, okay, this hard shit or this tough shit isn't to be looked at through a negative lens. It's to be looked at, okay, this is the work that I must do to develop myself to ultimately become who I want to become. And this is nothing more than my sparring partner for the moment. This is
Yep.
tough, but once I come over it, yes, it's a fucking sparring partner. I
Yep.
get better from sparring. I get better from going through this. I get better. I've learned something. So then you know what I do? I take that to the next match. If I go back and listen to what Corey said, Corey, okay, Corey, lean on your fucking gifts. You got this, champ. Let's go. Here we go.
Yep.
Lean on your fucking gifts. I got this because I bet on myself. John says, okay, it doesn't matter. I've learned something from whatever relationship I was in prior to this. And so you know what I did? I took all of that shit and that shit made me better. So now I won't make those same decisions that I was in the past situation. And so if you don't even get enough, like, so why do people love the fucking, the guys who go to fucking boxing or I don't know MMA. I don't know that track world, but I do know boxing. I can't say this right. They love the guys who have an amateur career, right? Because these guys has been through fucking test after test after test after test, and they've refined themselves, and everything that they've done from every fight, they've gotten better. And so just put your fucking self in the same situation as a fucking amateur boxer, right? This is like very easy shit to do, okay? And all these fucking battles that you're going through is testing you and revealing yourself to ultimately become to like a fucking championship, right? And I don't know MMA world, but I'm pretty sure everybody can get the fucking concept of you need your amateur fights, you need your training sessions, you need all of this shit. And the shit ain't gonna be fucking easy. You know what I'm saying? I know
Listen,
you got these guys.
You want to go pro in your passion, Reese. Check this out. If you want to go pro in your passion, at the end of the day, you got to go through that. All these things you're going through are the amateurs, so you can contend for the belt. It doesn't matter what it is. If you want to be a player in your industry, which is AKA a champion of your industry, you're going to have to go through 100 fucking amateur fights to build up to where you can be a player. And I always saw myself as a player in the fitness industry. There's going to be multiple players, but I like to say that I'm one of them, and it's because of all those battles for 15 and 20 years and going to every one of those booths at 21 years old, knocking on their metaphorical door and say, hey, I'm this guy. I can do this. I walked around there at 22, 23 years old thinking the same shit. I can add value. I can do this. I got this skill set. I like people. I can help them. Like I've always believed all these things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but the key is you got to get that time under your belt. You're in some of those fights, like you almost lose, right? Some of them are easy. It's the same. It's the same way. So right to your point, it makes sense.
So John,
real quick, I'm going to throw a metaphor on top of that, and I'm going to hand you the ball back. In MMA, we say small fish, big pond. So if you really want to be a fighter, you better be the small fish in the big pond with the sharks. So every day the sharks are whooping your ass. So one day you can go whoop ass. But here's how a lot of great fighters fall, right? If we're going to use this metaphor, they're the big fish in the small pond. And I think it's human nature to want to be the big fish in the small pond. That's the alpha against all the weaker ones. But just remember, be the small fish in the big pond, because you might get your ass whooped every fucking day. But one day you're going to land a stiff jab on a motherfucker's chin and he's going to fall. And that day is going to change your life. But yeah, go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, two things. I just believe like all the shit that you learn when you're going through the shit to be successful, I believe the little shit that's learned along the way gives you the ability to have staying power because you've gained the skills and the experience from just going through adversity. This is my personal opinion. And I always talk about just like, it's like the guy who knocks a motherfucker out and takes the belt. That's like the easy road to success. I've clipped him with a cool punch. I got the belt. I've really not been challenged and tested, but there's going to come a motherfucker who's a lot more prepared, a lot more skilled, has been battle tested in 1,000 different ways, and he's going to kick your ass and take it. And I was going to actually say, John, like, of course, since you've dealt in the fighting world and even with Corey, like how many guys have you seen get out there and take on things that they just weren't prepared for? You know what I'm saying? Guys like, yo, I want a fucking championship shot. I want the easy road to fucking to get me a shot to get the fucking belt. And I'm pretty sure if you look at those guys get their ass kicked and they don't last long. But that's very similar to guys in business and everything else. Like
it's all the same, Mo, because just like in business, in fighting, and in any sport, right? Like if you think about what you said about how you felt about football, it was an avenue for you to like literally express. It wasn't so much you love football, but you loved hard fucking work, right? Too many guys, whether it be in business or fighting or anything, they love being known and identified for that thing, but want to know what they don't love or value? Hard work. That's why you can have all the fucking skill in the world. I'm sure you saw it on the football field. Dudes coming out freaks, 6'5", fucking outside linebackers that are 260 that run 4.5s, but they're little bitches because they don't know how to fucking work. And they say, I'm the outside linebacker for West Virginia. Well, motherfucker, you're a bitch. Maurice Claret blew you the fuck up, and that shit's on SportsCenter, you little pussy, because you don't value hard work. I'm going to tell you how I got my shit pushed in one time. I'm going to tell you how I got fucked up, right? I was selling this company, and the dude I was talking to, he was fucking smart as fuck. And he said to me, he said, man, you just lost this sale. I said, why? He goes, you were talking to the fucking owner, and you were talking a million miles an hour. He goes, dude, I've been selling shit my whole life. Let me give you a fucking pointer. Talk slow. I said, why? He goes, the reason you talk slow is because when you're dealing with a shark during a sale, it gives you the ability to think because you have more time. So don't come back to me with this fast talking shit because you're making people feel like you're trying to get one over on them. So I literally took that. That was a beatdown. I got my ass kicked. I lost that deal. And forever since then, I talk at half speed when I sell for the simple reason that if you hit me with a question that I am not prepared for, if I'm speaking at half speed, I have an extra second or two to come up with the response. And that is one of the 1 million tools that I rely on for sales, but I never would have gotten it if I didn't get my shit pushed in. Exactly.
Yes,
sir. That's a nice takeaway, Johnny, right there. I mean, that's strategic. Yeah. Reese is going to use it as soon as he walks out of here studio wearing today.
I'm definitely going to make sure I'm speaking slow. So I'm on the podcast right now. Then I got to go to the Board of Education, right? That's a fucking.
Hey, you know what's so cool though is I think that, once again, there's going to be a lot of people listening to this that are going through a really tough time. There's a lot of people who are listening to this that haven't been through their tough time, or they've been through multiple, and there's more to come still. It's like, but if you're in this ever just kind of exhausting pursuit, if you're living your passion, it's not that exhausting because you like what you do. But if you're really working towards to try to accomplish a legacy or build a great business or create this new family for, this new life for your family, like keeping that Nick, the guy from Zappos that we talked about, kind of keeping that mentality where whatever comes your way, you kind of, keep your mild mannered. You're going to, you kind of sort through it. You get through it. You rely on your expectations. You rely on your work ethic. You rely on all these things that you're building throughout the process. And if you haven't built them yet, that's what's coming your way if you really want to, push. Because at the end of the day, if you're, and for some people that's fine, but it wasn't for me. If you're okay with the status quo, then you probably won't go through a lot of this stuff. You're going to have hard times. There's still going to be things hit your way, but it's like you kind of get through them and maybe you don't push forward past that. But I just got to tell you that there's nothing that's easy about what has happened to me, John, or Maurice. It just doesn't work that way. Everybody that has any level of success has went through some shit that's really challenged them, whether it's personal, whether it's business, and really made them dig deep. And this is why I like weightlifting too, right? I get under a big squat. It's me versus the weight. It's pushing me down. I got to get the fuck back up. And I got motherfuckers cheering me on, metaphorically, like supporting me. Motherfucker, get this. Let's go. Like the same type of motivation. That's why fitness and business to me is the same way. And even in life, like every day, there's going to be somebody coming for your spot, trying to emulate what you're doing, trying to rip off what you do, trying to come at because they want it because it's working. It is fucking working. And if you keep pushing, you're going to have to keep going through things that are going to make you better. And you can never, I always look at it like this. What's the fucking option? Just quit? Oh, I walk out of Muscle Farm and I just don't do anything anymore. I just fall off. Like I used to just look at it literally what's the other option? I used to look at it the same way. Hey, Maurice, you don't run the football no more. Oh, wait, you just quit on life? No, you don't. Yeah. You have to reinvent yourself. You have to do something else. It's just at the end of the day, it's just going to happen. There's going to be things that are going to hit you out of nowhere. You're not going to believe that they're there, and you're going to have to respond. Well, motherfucker, I'm a winner. You want to be on my fucking team. That's the way that I respond, and I have an expectation level of that. And that's what I'm bringing every fucking day. And that's it. And I don't tell motherfuckers. I show them. I show them.
Well, and Corey, you said expectation, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways, at least for me, of this episode, is if everyone listening could say, okay, I hear you guys. I'm going to expect shit to be hard. If I haven't dealt with hard shit yet, all right, I'm going to start getting ready for it, because if I'm going to succeed and pursue my passion, pursue my gift, and continue to grow, I'm going to hit a hard point. I'm the listener. That's what I gathered from listening to Maurice, Corey, and John. Like, if you prepare your mind for the sky to fall one day and for you to be like, oh my God, what the fuck am I going to fucking do? Get ready for it. Because if you're ready for it when it hits, it ain't gonna surprise you. And when it doesn't surprise you, you got a plan to get through it, while everyone else is stuck in that fucking quicksand saying, oh, poor me, woe is me. You're like, hey, this sucks, bro. This fucking sucks. Well, guess what? I expected it. So I'm gonna get through it. And if you guys can grab that from this episode, I'm a happy man.
I'll tell you this, man. That was just to add on to what you're saying. Oh, I just drew a blank. 2 seconds real quick. Sometimes I need a fucking notepad and notes. I just had like something so good to say.
Is Maurice Claret lost for words? Because I got to say, this might be the first time since we brought you on. Hey. I'm a little disappointed, Mo.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Hey, I'll buy you a little time, Mo. You got it? You got it?
I know. One, I don't have it, and I'm not going to search for it. I just believe everything comes to you. So, right, you know, I'm in my spiritual mode. You don't have to chase nothing. Everything comes back to you. But from a value standpoint, since we're going there, I will say one, I'm glad that you kicked my ass, because it's just helpful to me. And also, I was like, talking when I'm in a suit and talking when I come in here with fucking Timbs and jogging pants on was like two different things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something inherently is like,
but Reese,
be more professional.
But when Timbo's on, you ain't letting John kick your ass. Just fucking with you.
No, he's not good. No, I mean, but I think the biggest thing or the biggest takeaway from this is that not to look at, and I can sum it up, like something I was about to say, like falls in this category, like to have the initial perspective that this tough thing is going to anger me, is going to be tough and hard and labor intensive, and I'm just going to hate this deal. I think that's just the wrong perspective initially when you're looking at anything. Like, to just switch perspective and be like, okay, whatever it is that I'm about to go through, this thing is going to develop me. And to also know that if you just want to be a regular dude, it's so easy just to be a regular dude, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're listening to Business and Biceps and you like Corey, you like John, or you may like myself, or whatever it is that you're looking for, like, chances are you're looking to be abnormally successful or a little bit above the normal line, right? But also understand that those goals and dreams call for responsibilities that's not normal. They don't look anything like you do who works at Denny's, Applebee's, Walmart, or anything else. And oftentimes, understanding that you'll be out in the world alone by yourself, motoring through this shit and getting over this shit, and not having a bunch of advice and not having a bunch of encouragement, because people don't live like this. People are not entrepreneurial. People don't look at challenges as ways to develop themselves. They look at it as ways to, let me run from this job and run to another job because that will secure me. When in all actuality, if you get through that thing and develop yourself, then maybe you develop yourself into somebody of greater importance at your current job, or a managerial position, because I've learned how to motor through that and get through that. And all that I'm saying is that just be conscious, like, to look at it from a developmental standpoint, all adversity. And then the second part is, like, understand that everything that you ask for from the world, it can be given to you if you become that person, right? If you become the person who has the ability to take those responsibilities and do good with them. I don't think the world or the universe rewards people for doing evil shit. You know what I'm saying? If your thoughts, your dreams, your things benefit the world, add value to the world, I think the world gives you all the money you want, all the resources, all the tools, all of everything, just because I think universally it supports humanity. And that's all I was saying. And if you took anything away from what I said, hopefully y'all take that. And that's like my 2 cents.
Sure. I want to say one more thing, Core. And I think a big part of this is, okay, if you want to get to a point in life where you get through the hard times, you need to be able to look at yourself and assess and say, where am I weak? What is my weak point? So I'll use myself. So if I want to continue to ascend up and use my gifts and use my talents to grow, I need to get a better hold on my temper. Still to this day, I need to do that. I need to think about it every day. I also need to think about not wanting to get high, right? Because I haven't used in 10 years, but I still feel that. So if you can understand your weaknesses and be aware of them daily, this journey of busting through walls and busting through ceilings and dealing with hard shit will be much more attainable and much easier. But if you do not combat your weaknesses and you just accept them because you're too much of a fucking coward to deal with what brings you down, then you will stay down, my friends. And we don't want that for you. Be honest with yourself. Do yourself a favor.
I'll add to that, Johnny. I got real comfortable with telling people what I'm not good at a long time ago, and it's been the easiest thing ever, because then I have no expectation. Like, I'm like, yo, I need help with this. I'm not good at it. I don't think about.
I'm saying, do you tell yourself you're not good at?
Yeah, I try to.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the process. Like, hey, this doesn't come natural to me. I don't enjoy it. I'm not very good at it. Hey, I need to have people around me that are, because I know I'm gonna drop the ball on it. It just is what it is. And I got real comfortable saying that, because I'm not getting any better if I'm just lying to myself. I mean, that was one, just to your point. Like, I think that a lot of people think that's too vulnerable for them to say, hey, I'm not good at this. Or because you can't be good. Look, you're lucky if you're only good at a couple things, right?
Right. Or hey, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Because I believe we're all fucked up in our own ways, right? Like, we all have a problem or two or fucking 20.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the point where you start saying, yeah, I got a problem. Here's my strategy to fix it. Just like we all talk about strategies to succeed.
Yeah.
Well, I believe before you can put together a strategy to succeed, you have to be able to look at yourself and say, here's my weaknesses. Here's how I'm going to fix them, and then comes the strategy to succeed. But if you got all these fucking personal flaws all over the place, man, you're going to keep running into brick walls and you ain't going to know what hit you.
Oh, I think it's good. Hey, so here's the deal. I'll be interested to see what we title this one, right? Because this was, the easy stuff is definitely killer. The expectations, I think it became a lot about that. If you're listening to this in its entirety, which I know you are, because you probably already gave it 5 stars on iTunes, you probably already like gave it a positive review. But if you haven't, I think you should. You should also.
I think they told 5 friends to subscribe.
Exactly.
That's what I
say.
personally think.
If you want us to stay in the top 10, and I know you do, make sure you hit all your friends that you know. Say, hey, subscribe to Business and Biceps, because look, the takeaways on today's show, I want to commend you, Maurice, commend you, John. I think it was really good. Brother. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. And I think that our healthy competition was awesome. I think that, look, John mentioned it last night, and it was before you guys started texting, right before I was basically about to sleep, it felt like game time. Like, I'm starting to get that feeling of excitement for the podcast. I heard it time and time again this weekend about how it's turned up, as the young people say. That sounded really Caucasian. Yeah. So I think it's like we're getting there at a point where, I'm excited about offering this value. You guys have given some great stories, and Business and Biceps is here to stay, and we're excited about pushing forward. Johnny Fosco sounds like he'll be in person more often, so we'll keep doing some more and build on those events too, which is exciting. Make sure you guys go to businessandbiceps.com. Make sure you guys support who's supporting you. Hey, here's the deal. Boston Sword and Tuna, our boy Mike Scola, I've had a lot of people Snapchat me that they've been ordering salmon and swordfish, and all of us are eating really healthy. If you want to look like John Fosco and Maurice Claret, you got to make sure you eat lots of fish. You got to go right now to bst.seafood.com. Make sure you go buy.
Shop.bst.
Fuck, Mike Scola is going to hit me straight up. Here it is. Shop. S-H-O-P.
Corey, you got to talk slower when you're selling, buddy.
I'm not. Listen, but you don't have to sell the seafood because it tastes so good, John. I'm not even selling it.
Hey, ABC, always be closing, buddy.
Yeah, you got it. So look, shop.bstseafood.com, biz buys 15. I'm going to put out a personal post for Mike Scola just because I fucked up his website. So hold me to that, Mike. I got you. Anyway, swordfish, shrimp, lobster, salmon, scallops, halibut, steamers, everything. You guys can get 15% off straight to your door. It's biz, B-I-Z, 15. And I want to welcome Vincero. I mean, it's exciting to have. I'm a watch guy. All of us are watch guys. We love watches. I think it's really exciting to have a company like them that they saw a need in the market, John. We got a lot of young entrepreneurs here listening, and that we could get a sponsor that understands our demo and that they want to look fresh to death when they're out there. I mean, it's
Corey,
good.
when you're on your way to an icy Breitling, the Vincero comes first.
Yes.
The Vincero comes first. That's okay. Vincero, icy Breitling, or Rolex. But the Vincero comes first. So all you guys who are scrapping out there, literally check. Corey, what's their website?
It is VinceroCollective.com. And we're going to give you 15% off. Also, it's like biceps. Just type in promo code right now. Biceps. You want a tight watch. You want to check out Vincero. They're supporting you guys. We really appreciate them. And look, I know that at this point, there is absolutely no fucking way the podcast could be stopped. Can the podcast
Get it! Be
stop?